Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream, and now I'm gonna chase 3100 on tactics, on chess. And yeah, I think it's not gonna happen in first try. Let's say in a few hours. It's gonna take maybe several hours, maybe a dozen. But it's gonna be interesting, definitely, for me. For you, I'm not so sure, but we'll see. Okay, let's begin. Hello, Jack. I got to 3000, but I quickly dropped to 2960, as you can see. So let's get to it. Here, well, the first candidate that comes to mind is capturing the g5 pawn. But then we have to ask ourselves what happens if king g6, because if I move the knight again to e6, then f3 becomes maybe an issue. King h3, queen h6, and if I escape to g4, then queen h5, king f4. Oh, but he escapes to e3, doesn't he? Wait. Takes here 96, but I don't think it's that. I think it's more like a line like knight g5, king g6, and gf, but then queen takes. Okay. Well, this is outside my comfort zone as well. It's pretty tough, I would say. These puzzles are quite challenging. Maybe I don't react on king g6. Wait, I could go... Oh, could I simply go knight g5, king g6, and knight e4, knight e4, queen d3, queen e1. I don't like it. King f3, queen f2, or even king f5. Now, so let's figure this one out. Is the threat f3 a big one? Because if it's not, then we might afford a move like queen a4 or maybe queen to b6, just attacking the knight on d6. So let's say queen b6, f3, king h3, queen h1, king g4, let's say king g6. But then I have knight f4, and then I'll take on d6, and I believe this endgame is winning for white. So maybe it's something like queen b6 here, and then trying to go from behind, queen d8 and queen f8 with some checkmating threats, but it also feels a bit slow. I would rather go for this, king g6, and oh, and then queen b6 maybe just. I believe that f3 is just a ghost. I need to bust. So let's say knight g5, king g6, queen d6, f3, king h2. He cannot defend the knight on d6. If he goes queen f1, I have enough time to recover. Queen d6 check. If he takes queen f4, king h5, queen h4, king g6, queen e4, and then I take on f3, and it's all gone. So maybe it's just knight g5 and... Okay, a different question is what happens if king e7, but let's not ruin it. No, I think it's this first. On queen b6, although I don't see what's wrong with queen b6. That's a little bit annoying. f3, king h3. Maybe there's some crazy stuff like f3, king h3, knight f5, and I don't quite like that. Even if you exchange queens, this endgame doesn't look too good. I would rather go knight g5 and then queen b6. Because if I go here, f3, here, and probably just g4 actually, and I have this. Oh, I don't have perpetual because knight to f4, but I'm not amused. Ah, but there is queen f1 now. Wait a second. So f3, king h3. No, sorry. f3, queen b6, f3, king h2. Or did I say, what did I say? What was I looking at? If king h3, then... Oh, I guess just king g6 is a bit annoying. Although there is knight f4. And if king f5, g4. Oh, it's so complex. I'm seeing some checkmates, but cannot really have a clear look at all the lines, all the options. Offer draw. That would make it easy. So, okay, let's discard maybe one of the lines. Let's see knight g5. If this doesn't work, then queen b6 immediately does work. So I said king g6, right? King g6, queen b6, king takes g5, queen d6, wait a second, I have something on my other screen. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, knight g5, king g6, queen d6. Hello, Shubham. Knight g6, queen b6. I think this works. I don't think it's perpetual. I think I just take on d6, king g5. I showed this line. Queen f4, and you cannot step on g6 because I take and take on f3. If you step on h5, then queen h4, and you have to go to g6 eventually, and then queen e4 and queen takes f3. So that line works. And also, if you don't take the knight, I don't believe you survive too much, for too long. Maybe this line doesn't work because of king e7. Oh no. What am I talking? It works. Not because of this, but because of something else, maybe. But maybe there's a move like, let's say knight f5 here, which might be annoying to deal with. So knight g5, king g6, queen b6, f3, king h2. How do you defend the knight? Or you just don't? You don't. But also I don't see how, let's say on this one, what to do next. Shubham, you cannot play g4 because I played, I took on g5. Again, I'm streaming both on Twitch and on YouTube, so don't be confused if you watch on Twitch or... But yeah, this might be a problem. This line, king e7. You were confused. Maybe this is not... No, this is sharing. Sharing is caring, so... Is it possible that I just take on e4? This, knight e4, knight e4, I pick up all the pawns? I wouldn't say so, but it is an interesting option, definitely. And then give couple of checks until you win the knight, which is currently loose. Damn it, now I'm drawn to this one. But yeah, queen b6. Queen b6 looks nice. Damn it. I don't know what to do. Wait, I was saying something like... Oh, but wait, if you go king e7 here, knight c5 is very, very strong, right? And you don't have checkmate. I mean, I escape to g4 eventually. So... Aha, you also didn't see that... So queen b6... Queen b6, f3, king h3, king g6, knight f4, and I think I come on top there, right? Knight f4, and then I take a knight with check. King g6, king g4. Oh yeah, that might be even better, although... Aha, yeah, if queen h1, then knight f8. As you probably mentioned before in the chat. Yeah, I would say it's not this. I would say it's queen b6. Let's go for it. And now I need to go here, because if I do king h2, if I do king h2, then... King h3... What's the difference, damn it? Maybe there's g4, right? I would say it's that. It's g4 and then there's this mechanism. Queen h6, queen c1. So you would have to go king h3 to stop that. I mean, let's say king h2, g4, knight f4, king e7, and I don't think it's clear how to proceed. Yeah, let's go here. Queen f1, king g4. Oh, this goes on and on and on. And now king g4, like a boss. Like a boss. King f5 and then take on b7. I think. Or is it just capture on b7 immediately? Although, king f6 and there's no check. Which might cost us. I don't know. Whoops. No, is it just maybe... Maybe it's just check king g6 and then king g4. Oh no, this is not good. Knight f8 maybe, and then... Huh. Yeah, takes, king g6, knight f8, king f6, and then king g4. Maybe it's that. Pin drop, hello. Serbian lion, Siberian. Provocations all over the place. What is that? It better be autocorrect or something like that. No, but if king g4, then knight f6, and then it could be slightly tricky. I think it's queen b7 and then king g4. Because if you allow knight f6 with tempo with knight e5, then knight is loose and everything is loose. So I would take the chance to go queen b7 first to make it busy, to make f6 busy by the king, and then to get to g4, to vacate f6 by his king. So queen takes b7. And now knight f8 was my idea, but I'm open to suggestions, definitely. So what's the threat here? If I go queen e7, he has g4, very unpleasant surprise, I think. Yeah, g4, king g4, knight f6, and my king is in a pretty bad shape. Or just queen h1, queen h5, oh my god. So I would have to do something very concrete. Or just go king h1, but that I don't buy. That one I don't buy. Knight f8, king f6, king g4, yeah. It looks like that. And we got the first one. We got the first one. So this was my idea, and let's see. Is there something better? Queen a6 check. For example, take on a6 and enjoy the advantage. Knight e7. Aha, so you just cover f6 and you're good. Okay. Good to know. But even king g4 doesn't spoil too much. It's +3 and this is +5. Oh, okay, it spoils, but not decisively. What is this? How long did this take? Wow, 20 minutes, 23 minutes. That doesn't look good. Doesn't promise. Bishop a2. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Why doesn't the other line work? So this... But what's the line? So you mean knight g5? Knight g5. Oh, both king f6 and king e7 are good. And now knight e4 is the best for white, which is funny. But I was looking at this. f3. Aha, now you go give checks. Although he can escape to e3, but this is, ooh, this might be dangerous. Yeah, knight c4 next, and the king is not in the best shape. Yeah, I would be... How many cores do I have enabled? Let me see. I'm not sure. It says here threads 22 from 32. I don't know how. Aha, okay. So let's turn on brains, shall we? Yeah, maybe I turned on too much of the memory and yeah, lower threads maybe, like maybe 1/3. What about now? Is it laggy now? I still feel slight lagginess. Do you? Like it's slower when I make a move. No, the visibility is okay, but the movement is a bit dragged out, let's say. What did I want to see here? Oh yeah, King G6 line. Oh, that one was fine because Queen B6, F3, King H2, and on Queen F1 I wanted to show you this nice line. And you defend from checkmate by picking up all the pawns. But yeah, black doesn't have to go to G6. He can just go to E7 and now knight E4 is the best. Which is quite silly. King D8 and it goes on. But okay, let's turn off the engine and is there some other line I missed? Let me know. Oh, hello. How are you doing? I think I didn't miss anything else. I think it was all there. Oh, now it's a different puzzle. But I wanted to do that one so badly. Okay. Sag. Well, good luck with school. Bishop c4, offer draw. Or is it knight c8? That would be so sick. But it's not. That would be a sick move, but it doesn't work, sadly. But some ideas like Queen b3, let's take a look at that first. Bishop c4, King f8, and then some knight f5, but no. I don't have enough. Hola, Aaron. Hola. Do I have some intermediate move after queen b3? This, bishop c4, king f8. Because if I take on b3, he's gonna block the d file at least. And then I can say goodbye to my winning chances, if there are any. So oh god, maybe it's rook b1, isn't it? Rook b1, bishop c2, and then bishop c4 check, king f8, rook b8, king e7, knight f5, take the queen, and be an exchange up. And the problem is that his bishop is very loose. I mean, rook on b8 is very loose, and the queen cannot come to help. And I mean, queen f7 impossible, queen b7 also impossible. Well, even if it was possible, there's bishop c4 always. So yeah, I would start with rook b1, and the problem is that in the end bishop on c3 will hang. So even if you attack my loose knight on d6, let me make a different color, it's not gonna be enough. If you do something like queen d7, I will just take on b3, queen d6, takes, queen c3, and white is a piece up. What do you say about this? Is there any hole I left in my analysis, my deep analysis? Oh, maybe there's... I didn't mention one move, which is ridiculous, but it could work in a blitz game. Queen b7, but you take on c3 or play bishop c4. So no, forget about it. Also, if rook d8, let's say, then rook b3, and then bishop on c3 hangs. So I would go for rook b1. What do you say? Anyone there? Rook b1, bishop c2, bishop c4. Okay, king h8 is not good because of rook b8 immediately, and queen g8, rook g8. So if bishop c2, bishop c4, king f8, check on b8, king e7, knight f5. Yeah, let's go. Now you don't give a check because he got queen f8 and you have to give up the rook, so you have to go bishop c4 and then just take some material, I guess. +8. Okay. I think there was nothing really suspicious about this puzzle. I mean, it was very straightforward. Rook b1, bishop is loose. If you go c4, I take on c4, and then take on b3. You cannot move the bishop because of rook b8. You cannot defend the bishop any other way, so yeah, it's pretty forced. Bishop c2, and just to show this, if rook b8, queen f8, you can give a check, but king g7, and somehow he doesn't get to win the queen without losing a rook first. Let me see if white saw this, but no way. Bishop b3, queen c1. Okay. Well, at least he should have seen bishop c4. I mean, but okay, 1600. Maybe not. I'm not bashing anyone, but okay, next 2981. Oh, the queen is naughty. What are we gonna do about it? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna play g3? No. Oh, actually we might play g3. Wait. Oh, g3, queen g4, damn it. Blind. Bashing 1600s and then blundering in one move. Okay, be humble, be humble. Try. Try that for once. Yeah, definitely. Rook b1 would be just an afterthought. I mean, it would not be definitely something you plan out. What can I play here? Damn it. Knight f2. Martin, if I play g3, then queen g4 is a problem, I would say, and then you escape to f5. So what do you do? Knight f6. That's an oh, that's a very good move. If bishop e4, d4 maybe. Yeah. And then knight hangs, and also you want to play g3 next. So let's say knight f6. No, but a bishop is pinning the king, so you can the rook, and you cannot take in that case when you play g3. So Aaron says knight f6, which I like. If bishop e4, let's just get to straightforward lines. d4. Now the knight hangs. If knight e5. g3, knight c4, queen c3, queen h3. Oof, this has to be a checkmate somehow. This simply has to be a checkmate. But also maybe not a checkmate, maybe something else. What can happen? Knight f6, bishop e4, d4. Knight e5. Aha, so let's go back. Let's go back. Knight f6, bishop e4, d4, knight e5, g3, knight c4, queen c3, queen h3, and now you said knight e8, double check. Oh yeah, I was looking only at knight h5 for some reason, and then he escapes to g4 and I couldn't work it out, but yeah, knight to e8 and then queen g7, queen h7. No, just queen g7. What am I talking? Yeah. So yeah, that line seems to work. Thank you for this 98. I would just wonder forever. And also one extra line which is important. If you take on f6, take, and no matter what, if you take on f6 or go back to h8, let's say, you go g3, and then queen g4, bishop e2, you trap the queen eventually. Queen h3, bishop f1, queen g4, and then h3, and queen has no squares to go. These squares are covered, and there's no escape. Also, of course, these two. So, what do you say? Knight f6 seems like a solid choice. And yeah, luckily you don't have queen f4 because knight h5. Because if you did have it, then this exchange of queens doesn't really make me happy here, because lines are open and there's potential counterplay. So let's go knight f6, bishop e4, and just d4. And then just g3, right? Does taking on g5 mean anything in lines that white has no knight to support mate? In which one exactly? I don't understand. And then I just take, right? Bishop e2. Ooh, +7. But the clincher was this line. Knight c4, queen c3, and I was only looking at knight h5, and then I couldn't work it out, you know, it's tough. King g4, and then I don't have a mate. So, but luckily, good people in chat told me knight e8, and then the king has no escape. Boom. So, yeah, this is a very nice line, but yeah, knight on f6 hangs. I was thinking first like, oh, why not queen c3, but you can just take on f6 and I guess you survive there. e4 hangs. You might even have this one, so for what I know. Okay, what time is it? It's almost 4 p.m. at my place. Am I gonna play Title Tuesday? I'm not sure. I might just go with the puzzles today. What else? And also check 94. I didn't see your answer. What did you mean by hanging on g5, taking on g5? Yeah, definitely. I'm going for 3100. it's not gonna be like 10-hour stream like it was for Puzzle Streak, but it might be a longer one. Aha, you mean Knight f2. Well, in case of Knight f2, the difference is that after this, you have Queen f4. And when Knight is on f6, there's Knight h5. So when this happens, you don't have Queen f4 at disposal. Aha, so I was considering this, yeah. g3 and Queen g4, bishop e2. Yeah, you can also take on g5 here, but yeah, the main point was to trap the queen. But yeah, in this one you can also go for Queen g5 and Queen h6. You're right. So let's go to the next one. Alright, this is not a pawn ending, which is refreshing. But still challenging. AF. Maybe h4. But also maybe c5. Takes b6, c4. Takes king e4. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. h5. h4 then. Or do you begin with d6? Do you begin with d6? And then the bishop cannot stop this pawn, so you have to go king e6, I suppose. You don't have bishop g5, bishop f4 doesn't really do anything, so you have to go for... Also, this route is impossible. So on d6, king e6 is pretty much forced, I'd say. And then probably this c5 line. And when you take b6, c4, and then king e2, making sure that he doesn't have d3 to pick up the b6 pawn. So if you go c3, b7, c2, queens, and now I don't know where my pieces are, damn it. Queen e8. Oof, it's too tough, too hard to visualize this. d6, king e6. c5, bc5. Aha, maybe you go king c4 in that case. So d6, king e6, c5, bc5, king c4, and then you push b6 next. Somehow it's all speculative. I don't know. Oh, but wait, why am I so scared of this line? d6, king e6, c5, bc5, b6, c4 takes, d3, just b7, bishop a7, pick up on d3 and win the game, maybe? No, if I go c5, he takes on d5, and that's a problem now. Bishop f4 holds the pawns. So I would begin with with d6. With d6, and then king e6, c5 takes b6, c4, king takes d3, b7, bishop a7, and now I need to find something, but I don't see it. d6, king e6, c5, bc5, b6, c4 takes d3, b7, bishop a7, king d3. I don't know. Nenade zdravo. c5, d6. What to play? Okay, let's make it cleaner without arrows. d6, king d6, c5, bc5. Maybe you go for c5, bc5, king c4, like I said before, and then b6, b7, but not. Well, Gukesh is a very surprising winner, I would say. But I think it was deserved because he showed some courage and he was playing the best when it was needed. So he was also psychologically very well prepared, I think. I mean, bc5, b6, c4, king c4, d. I don't know. Let's go d6, and then just c5, and then. Oh, but wait, this is not looking great. Bishop f4 maybe here. I think he is the youngest to challenge world champion. And by far, I think... Wait, who was 20 when he won candidates? Maybe Tal. I think it was Tal. Or... No, it wasn't Tal. Someone... Maybe Fischer... No, not Fischer. Definitely not Fischer. Maybe Kasparov. Or... I don't know. So b6 or king c4, my two candidates. Pun not intended. So king d7. King d7, d3. b6. Oh, that might be it, isn't it? b6 and then d2, just take, bishop d2, b7, and you cannot stop the pawn. So we are getting close to solution. King c4, bishop f4. King c5, bishop d6. Oh no, there's no time for that. There is no time for that. Yeah, maybe it's just b6. I don't like king c4, bishop f4 line. And on b6 there's bishop d6. Wait, but you can take, king b5, d3 here, d2. Ah, no, it's nothing. King c4, bishop f4, king c5, d3. Yeah, I would say b6. And then maybe it's this one, the line I mentioned before. But I was not sure about c3. What's up with that? c3? Oh, and then you just go king d3, right? Oh, no, you don't. c2 takes, and then d3, and then... No. You go king e2, bishop g1, king f1, c3, and you messed up. So maybe it's just this, and king b5 actually. King b5 might be a clincher. Although these pawns are remaining, I'm not sure. Takes this, b7. So takes d3, b7. Damn it. So tough. Chess is so tough. King c4, d3. b7. Wait, again, with this one. Bishop g1. No, this one doesn't work, I think. This one doesn't work. He has d3 and he'll have two passed pawns. No. Let's take a look at this line. So king c3, king c4, d3, king b5, d2. And you take. He takes. I take on d6. And what is this in the end? What is this? I think it's a draw. I think you cannot save this. Takes d3, b7. Bishop a7, king d3, g5. I think it's a fairly easy draw to achieve. Although, I wouldn't be that sure. Yeah, I wouldn't be that sure because on g4 there's h4. I keep pawns on the board, knight g3, knight h5. Before that I'm gonna improve my king. So yeah, that ending is not really a big problem, I guess. Ooh. That sucks. But what's happening? Why don't you play bishop e3? Oh god. But I was looking at c3 instead. Oh, I simply missed that I can go knight c5, knight d3. And you can never really take on d6 because of check. Oof, that was stupid. Stupid to miss. Yeah, I was looking only at... okay, d3 is just resignation. Oh no, sorry. Come on. Focus, man. Take that. And then... wait, why is this still... is there a difference? Knight c3 or knight d2? c3... c3... I think it's this, c3, knight b3. Oh no, it's not that, wait. Not so simple after all. Knight c3, king d6, and then just go after this pawn. But I don't get it. c3, knight b3. I don't really get it. Knight d2, c3. I would take, but what happens here? Oh, anything wins. h4 now, yeah, that's a good one. And then go for these, and the knight will manage. I hope so. Okay, but b6, c4, king c4, d3, b7, bishop a7. King d3, king d7, only move. Oh, yeah. And then king c6. I wasn't looking concretely, I was just looking at a scheme, like, I'm gonna get my king closer, but I wasn't looking at his moves. Yeah, and then king c6 next, and once he picks up b7, it's gonna be tough to advance. Well, that's rough, minus 15, but it's basically two puzzles which I solved were just wiped out by this one. Well, let's continue. Knight f6. First move that comes to mind, isn't it? Knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1, king g2, h6, and something. Knight takes, king h7, bishop d3, knight d3, queen d3, king h6, g5, king h5, and mate on h7 maybe, if I correctly calculated this whole sequence. But I'm not sure anymore. Should I go for it? Puzzle rush style. Knight f6, gf6. But I don't get any bonus points like on Chess.com, so why bother? So knight f6, gf6, bishop f6. Everything is pretty forced so far. Queen is attacked, so you gotta react. Knight f6, gf6, bishop f6. Now queen g5 is coming, so you want to do something about this. And you either give a check by taking a rook, or you play h6 immediately, or you take on f5, but that one ain't gonna promise much. Ah, he has knight e6 as a defense. Wait, I need to be more vigilant. So knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1, king f2, knight e6. And now takes, queen g5. What is happening? What in the hell is happening? If I start with this one, king h8, isn't it? I would go for this purely on intuition, but I would have to see what happens on 96. I mean, after takes and king f2, 96, d6, fe6, queen g5, king f7 maybe, but I don't feel like it's a big challenge. But also I don't see a checkmate, so it might work. So knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1, king f2, 96. I don't want to take on e8 because knight e8 defends f6, and that would have been a bit disappointing. So knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1. You don't have queen e1 because of knight e8 again, and it doesn't seem too attractive. Does anyone have a suggestion? Also, I have to look at the line like knight f6, knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1, king f2, knight e8. Although there I have queen g5. And on bishop g7, just take on g7, I suppose. With what? With knight. Knight h6, knight h6, king h8. And how to continue? I was struggling here. Maybe knight f6. Maybe knight f6, and then you... Aha, maybe it's that. Wait a second. So knight h6, king h8, knight f6. You cannot take because of bishop f6, bishop g7 takes, queen g5, king h8, and then queen f6 mate. But you can go for rook e1 first. And now it becomes pain. It becomes pain. I cannot see anything after gf, bishop f6, rook e1, and knight e6. Although I will take some material there. Wait, in the end rook on e1 hangs, indeed. But also I gave up too much material. I don't know. Knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook u1. Okay, that one I mentioned, and then 96. Fe, Fe. Да, D, Fe. Maybe it's bishop f6, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not able to find what's wrong with both. Knight h6, king h8, knight f6, rook e1, king f2, gf, bishop f6, bishop g7. Oh, I might even see something. Wait, bishop. Donuts, bishop h6 and queen g5. I think the problem could be that on that I might have rook e4. I don't know. Rook e4 and then take on h6. Why not take e1 with queen? Because queen on e1 doesn't participate in attack like it does on d2, because it can always get to g5. On bishop g7 there's queen g5. Wait, where? From e1 back to c3. Yeah, but that's a loss of a tempo, I would say. You need every tempo here to win the game. From d2 you want to go to g5 and give a checkmate. So that's why I want to just keep queen on d2 and not take a rook. Because rook doesn't do anything in black's position. I mean on the king side. So that's why I just ignored the rook and let's say knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1. But okay, let's take a look actually. Let's take a look at queen e1, knight e8. I think that's the key move, knight e8, to not have anything working out for... And now a move like queen e6 would be cool, but it doesn't work. There's bc. Yeah, I do have a YouTube chat right now. I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Oh yeah, let's take a look at this one, actually. Rook e1, queen e1, knight e8. Knight e8, and then I simply don't see it. Maybe queen e3, knight f6, queen g5, king h8, queen f6, king g8. And then draw, queen g5, queen f6. Not really. But wait, what if I go... now bishop f6, rook e4? Rook e4, gf6. No, it doesn't seem to work. Knight h6, king h8, knight f6, rook e1, queen e1, and black has no moves. What do you mean has no moves? What about take on f6? Takes, bishop f6. Wait, knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1, king g2. I think knight e6 is a move to be afraid of, not knight e8. Knight e8 I think is good for white. Queen g5 and what you told, just take on g7 and win, but I think a problem is knight e6. I mean, the thing I didn't find. Yeah, and I understood. So knight f6, gf6, bishop f6, rook e1, king f2, knight e6. Yeah, the instincts are tricky subject. You know, maybe it's king g2 first move, who knows? And then knight f6. We'll never know. We'll know, but not on time. Maybe it's rook e2. I don't know. For what I know, it's rook e2. King g2 and then knight f6 next, with not much happening for black. I mean, he can go f6, but I could take that maybe. Knight f6. Oh, wait. No, sorry. I'm just overhyping it. But wait, knight f6, g f6, bishop f6, rook e1, bishop f1. And let's say rook takes, king takes, knight e6. No. Not working whatsoever. Yeah, if you want, you can transfer from Twitch to YouTube if the ads are too annoying. And okay, let's go back to knight h6. Now I'm switching to this one. So king h8, knight f6. Takes gf, and then what? Takes knight f5. I don't see it. Maybe you don't take on e1 like the previous idea. Knight f6, rook e1, king f2, and then if you take bishop f6, bishop g7, takes, queen g5, king f8, queen g8, king e7, knight f5, queen takes, g takes. And this kind of feels winning, but I'm not positive about it. But yeah, if I go queen g5, then he has knight e8, doesn't he? Knight e8, and I don't really see follow-up. He defends on g7 and bishop f6. John Capone. Bishop f6. I was looking at rook e4. Cap. Sorry. With the second knight start, At the end, you go queen, bishop f6, bishop g7, queen c3. But there's 98 always. That's bothering me. There's always, even if I line up bishop and queen like this, on g7 there's 98 and he defends on g7. But I think on rook e1 you go king f2. So knight h6, I think this is the line actually. Knight h6, king h8, knight f6. Oh, but it's not the line. You have queen e7 in the end. Queen e7. And then nothing. So knight h6, king h8, knight f6. Maybe I should take, because otherwise queen e7. Hard as nails. What should I do besides offering a draw? Knight h6, king h8, knight f6, takes, gf, and bishop f6, bishop g7. Trapping a bishop on a4 wouldn't do the job, I think, because first of all, my bishop on c4 is attacked. I would have to lose some time, and it would be just an exchange. So I think we need to somehow get the material, but some larger units like a queen, or give a checkmate. Simply. Yeah, I'm trying that, but I'm trying to research this one, but takes, bishop g7, and now what do you do? What do you do here? Queen c3, knight. Oh wait, knight e8, takes, knight f5, f6, queen f6, and now I threaten this. If h6, queen f8, king h7, knight e7. That could be the end. Is it the end? To explore bishop f1. Bishop f1, that's... I think it's too slow. I think on bishop f1 just you take on d5 and you cover f6 enough times. But yeah, knight h6 I think is the move. Knight h6, king h8, knight f6, rook e1, queen e1, gf6, bishop f6, bishop g7, queen c3, knight e8, bishop g7, knight g7, knight f5, f6 to stop checkmate, or do I investigate queen takes f5 and then gf, bc? That's also annoying because we have 4 pieces. Queen c3. Or maybe on... maybe I don't go... Oh, maybe I go queen f6 instead of knight f5. So... Oh, but still no. What if I start with this? Aha, you mean knight f6 takes this knight f5, but I think I take on f5 and then take on c4. I think I do that. I might play tomorrow against viewers and in the pool. Okay, let's go for knight h6 and this. So do I begin with queen c3? No, it's not really working out because you have knight e5. So bishop f6. And now I think queen c3 works. Not this, because you take knight f5, queen takes, g takes, bc, and I think I'll connect my pieces, like take on d5 next move, and unless there's this one. Oh, I missed this one. There's a check on g3 in the end of this line. So takes knight f5, king f8, and I suppose queen c3, yeah, like you said. Queen c3 and then f6, queen takes, queen f7, queen d6, king e8. Oh, I think that works just fine. I think that works. What do you think? Just take on g7, knight f5 instead of this. If I go here, he goes knight e8, bishop g7, knight g7, knight f5, and then I might have queen takes f5, which is a little bit annoying, I would say. Although it shouldn't be annoying that much. Wait, why would it be? gf, bc, queen f6. It might not be. Yeah, this also is a nice idea. Queen f6 first. What do I do? Queen c3, if I miss some stupid move, it will be silly. But also I don't see what's wrong with this. Maybe just king g6? King g6, queen h4. Just f6. Oh, queen h5 is made. So maybe it's knight f5. Oh, but wait, I can go king f8 and then sacrifice my queen. No, this isn't good. Maybe queen c3. Let's go queen c3. And it goes on. Damn it. Queen f6. Wait, knight f5. Then he goes f6. Queen takes. And now I have double threat. Queen f8 and... or queen g7 in case queen commits. But also, what's wrong with this move? What's wrong with this move? Queen f6 now. Queen f6 now, bc, knight f7, queen takes, and this one looks dead. This one looks pretty dead. But I guess the problem could be that queen f6 can be met by queen e8. And then you might not have better than perpetual. Also, I might do something similar myself with queen e1 and disturbing checks. So I would go for knight f5 because if f6, first of all, if you take and bc, first of all and last of all, knight f5, queen f5, gf5, bc4. Okay, let's chill out. Queen f6 or knight f5. The battle begins. I'm not sure about queen f6 because of this move. I don't see what next. So I'd rather go for knight h6. You go f6 and then what? What's your next plan? What's your next move after f6? Because I'm gonna take your bishop, take on d5, and eventually take on f6. So give me something. I think it has to be knight f5, this, bc, and queen f6 in the end. And then to take on d6 and use the d-pawn somehow. Somehow. Also, let's take a look at f6 move. This, I said something like h6, did I? Or h5. h5 might be better. 97. But still, this looks pretty lost. Yeah. So let's see the. Yeah, Queen f6 is the only move that wins. Queen f6, and then you pick up d6 and you use your d pawn. And black is always in trouble. He cannot take on f5 so easily without losing this piece, because there's always going to be some check, some geometry is going to line up, and white's going to win a piece. So that was my logic behind this. And currently black has to stop queen d8, so he would have to go king g8 possibly, but then you just take, and if you take on f5 there's this series of checks which leads to losing, winning the knight on f5. Okay, 2983. How long is this? Almost 2 hours. And almost I got nowhere with my rating. Okay, I guess if I get to 3000 until the end of the stream, it will be okay. It's like a series, so it's not gonna be at one go. And also, let's take a look at the line. Line is queen f6. Yeah, queen f6, queen c8 defends, and also queen e8. And then you don't have anything better than to repeat like this. If you take on d6, what happens? Queen f8. Oh, that's a nice one, because now you either exchange queens or take on c4, which both of these are not attractive. So yeah, queen f6 was bad, and that leaves us with this. But let's take a look at this. 97, yeah, and then queen h6 next. So you have to give up a queen, and now it's even worse because you have some passed pawns on the king side, and it might put black's king in danger. Plus, there's always this motive of capturing the pawn, so it's not a biggie. Yep, this is it, and let's go to the next one finally, after quite some torture. For you, for me. I would say rook c3, but and what the hell. I would say that and then think about it. So rook c3, rook d2, rook d3, queen d3, bishop f5, and that's pretty much it, isn't it? So rook c3, what do you do as white? Rook c1 is coming next. And I don't see, maybe bishop c2, but then rook b3. And then inevitably you go queen b2. Just to warn you here, if rook c3, bishop c2, rook c2 seems interesting, but it might not work out because of rook e1. Oh, but wait, bishop is... Never mind. Warning is has failed. But yeah, queen c2 you can take. Yeah, this was my point. Queen c2 and then bishop bishop f5, rook e1. And then the queen is also lost as black's. So you'd have to be slightly careful. Yeah, rook c3, bishop c2, rook b3. That's the winning move. Rook c2 loses, I guess. I think it loses, yeah. So we start with rook c3. But what could be the catch here? I don't see the catch. Queen h6, still rook b3. Ah, but then queen f6, and the game goes on. So you would have to maybe go for rook c3, queen h6, rook d3, queen c1, and then rook a3. Rook a3 and then have some fun with bishop a2 and or bishop a2 immediately maybe even. But no, rook a3 looks cooler. Yeah. Also, why not? What's wrong with this move? Is that so bad? I want to go c2, so maybe he goes bishop c2 instead. But I don't know. It looks weird. Yeah, this one, BC. What does white do? Bishop c2, bishop a2, king a2. Oh, but now I'm vulnerable on the e file, so that might be a problem. Is anyone seeing a problem with this move? Also, one small update. If you go... Never mind. If you go queen h6, I can go bishop a2. That's simpler. King a2, rook a3, and then queen b2 next. Just a small blunder. So, what do you say? Rook c3 or bc3? Bc3 doesn't look good. Bishop c2 and he gets some hope. Take on b2, but even this looks so vulnerable. How is this possible to Ah, maybe there's rook e1 and rook e6. Okay, that seems like a lot of trouble for black to get his king into safety. While rook c3 immediately poses some questions. Rook d2, rook d3, and now I need something like rook f2. I wonder if rook f3 works. Rook f3, and then if queen c2, then just bishop f5. Wait, so rook c3, rook d2, rook d3, rook f2, rook f3. Rook cannot take because of queen b2. And you cannot take on f3 because of bishop f5. So you would have to defend this rook, I guess. But then bishop f5. No, you would have to defend it by queen c2, but then bishop f5, yeah. And what's the conclusion here? If bishop c2, rook b3, is there some rook d7, king d7? Nothing seems to work, I guess. Okay, let's go for it. Oh, it's BC. And what exactly is the move? Maybe queen a5 now. Queen b5 and queen c4. This. Let's see what's wrong with this. Rook c3. Oh, rook d1, and now he escapes to d1. Oh, I didn't see that. Didn't even cross my mind that he can do this. And yeah, now he takes on e6 and I'm busted. That's a nice defensive resource. Because even if I try something like bishop c3, he'll take on e6 easily and just give checks until he gets to the perfect position. Get his bishop to c2 or c4. Yeah. Oof. At least it's -5. It's not a big loss. But yeah, somehow I discarded this one too easily. And I didn't consider this. You cannot go bishop b3 because I have c2 or... Well, even... No, c2 is more precise. And then just... Oh, king f8. King f8 is nice. So yeah, I was very confident about this line, but it didn't work. Puppy eyes. All right. Oh, what is this? What is this? It has to be d3. I mean, it has to be. So on d3, capture is forced. That's nice. And then f3. And then we go bishop d4, bishop f2, and we win, ideally. But since this is a puzzle, we gotta work it out. At least a little bit. No, one thing is for sure, I cannot allow white to play f3. If I allow him to play f3, then it's a fortress. That's one thing I know, definitely, but... Now, is it bishop c3 first? But I think I need to give this pawn away to be able to defend with the bishop on a longer diagonal. So d3, cd3, f3. Let's say king a5, bishop d4. And when you push, I will take and then move the bishop away, push the pawn, and it seems like a fairly easy win. So it might be challenging if bishop goes... takes, f3, bishop f5, bishop d4, bishop e4, king f4, king a5, bishop f2, b4, takes... no, it won't be challenging, would it? Will it? What do you think? Is d3 the right idea here? Yeah, I'm not quitting so easily, but I might in a few minutes if this turns out to be a losing puzzle. If this turns out to be a losing puzzle, I might just call it a day. Also, there's king e4 idea. Oh, I hate it now. I hate it so much. At the same time, we realized that it might be king e4. And how do you calculate this? Okay, king e3, king c4. Or maybe you go king f3, b4, king f2. The point of d3 is to contain the b pawn. In this line in particular, king e4, it bothers me that king c4, king f3, b4, and then somehow you're lacking, although you're not lacking anything. Bishop c3 is there, but maybe I'm seeing ghosts. King e4. Aha, maybe there's a different way. So king e4, this, and then c4. bc, and then king c4. And then you push the pawn, and I'm not sure which one. Which one gets first? But it's a crazy line, I don't think it works. I would go for d3, but I don't know. I don't know what to think here. Yeah, there's bishop a5. That's making it slower. Oh no, you don't go king d4, you go f3. If you go king d4, then bishop f5, I mean, you go bishop f5 and that's a draw, so takes, f3. And then bishop d4. And then you take, if needed, king f4, and you fix things up. So not sure which one is correct. Okay, let's just go by my hunch. Just take. Maybe it's okay. Yeah, now I have to take, don't I? Because now the b pawn is gonna become a pain. Or does it again? You can go king f4 actually, and still work it out. If you go bishop d4, king d3. What is that? King d5. Oh, then bishop e4. Wait, what's wrong with this move? b4, bishop e1, bishop d3, king e3. Ah, it's getting trickier. Aha, so that's why you need maybe king f4 here. King f4 and then bishop e1 and do it this way. This, king d3, bishop e1. So you're sort of shouldering the king, I suppose. But is it enough? Is it enough? Wait, bishop d3, this one. Bishop c5, let's say. King here, here, here. Gets to f1 and I can just take a look, I suppose. But if I do king f4, he's not gonna come on time to block the pawn. Although in this line, when he gets bishop c5 and here. Oh, but there is bishop e4 and he's forcing. No, he's not forcing anything. Wait, let's figure this out. Aha, maybe I see now. Maybe I see what's wrong. So if I take king d3, bishop c5, bishop e6, king f4, king d2, king... Oh no, I don't go there. Wait a second. Takes king d3, bishop b6. Maybe there's king c4 back and going after this one. No. Somehow this feels slow. Like I'm losing a tempo for nothing. But I can't figure out why. Bishop b6, king d3, king... Can I afford to lose d5 as white? So bishop d4, king d3, bishop b6, king d5. But wait, if I go here, king b5, now bishop here, b4, and then king d3. Ooh. That is scary. Although I will win g4. Okay, let's go king f4. I do take. King f4, king d3, bishop e1, bishop c8, only move, and or bishop d7. Bishop e6 loses. But why? King g3. Oh, so yeah, these two moves draw because on king g3 there's king e4, and on f2 bishop b5, and if you take, sorry, what's, aha, here's king e3. Yeah, my bad. If f2, then you go here, and now king e2, and you make a fortress. You eventually get bishop on g2, king on f1, and if you go king g2, then king e4. Yeah, this is something else. Now you push and it's a draw. King f5, this, and in the end the g-pawn will deflect the bishop from defending d6, and that's it. How do we stop king f1 with bishop d4? Let's take a look. Takes, here bishop f2, or just bishop d6. And if we go here, oh, I could even take on d5, that's winning as well. Oh yeah, this makes sense, because if I make random moves like, let's say, b4, b5, I don't know, king f4, bishop h3, king, yeah, I will take on g4. Yeah, that sucks. g3, and once you pick up this one, it's much easier. But even if you don't pick up, I think you can get some position like this, get the king to g1 and push all the way to d3, you know. Let's say this, this, and on bishop h3, bishop a7, and you got him in Zugzwang, because now you don't want to give up d3. If you give up d3, then it's a draw, because the king is too close to the g-pawn, and he'll pick it up, and you have to go for this pawn with the king, and then bishop will handle the g-pawn. So yeah, by simply making a waiting move with the bishop, now the bishop is stuck on h3. If you go back to f1, just d3 now, and it's slightly different. So I think that's gonna be it. I'm back to 0. I mean, if you see my rating now, it is what it was 2 hours ago. So I'll see you maybe some other day, and take care. Bye. And now I have to find a way to quit the stream. Wait a second.